adoption. So we're bringing back this picture because I want to understand before we go to adoption, then end with advocacy. DevMar, remember the last class we said this is a room, a code room, and the job of DevMar is to bring items into this, and DevRel people will keep it chilled with different efforts. Although DevRel, DevMar are interchangeable in terms of robot, clearly in simple terms, this is what it happens. Awareness is one thing. A company's goal is adoption. That middle thing, that middle what's it called? Three A's. The number second, adoption is the key. We can have 100,000 awareness. We can have plenty awareness, but if there's nobody using this tool, it makes no sense. Example in the code room. If we have DevMart people spending money, they're writing about come and store your items in the code room, the benefits, they are, doing influencer marketing, and doing different things, and we don't get anything to store in the code room. Our awareness phase there's a problem. And so we need to do awareness correctly, but the focus of awareness should be to lead us to adoption. Now they know the products. Let them use it. Adoption phase is for people to use it. An example, again, real life example, we launched a product last year. This is 2023, 2022, yeah, January last year. And for the next 6 months, the focus was awareness. That's the focus. We had 2,000, I joined the team, they had 1,500 developers signed up. We need to create awareness. Voila, create awareness. We had different blog posts, we did different things, spoke at conferences, webinars, awareness. We grew from 2,000 to 6,000 in a few months, and then we grew to 10,000 in that other months. And then the company raised money. Of course, when you raise money, investors are looking for revenue back. So they immediately raised the money. The targets, the KPI changed. Adoption. Yes, it's good though. Awareness is fine. We've had 6,000 people, 10,000 with the platform. We want them, those people that signed up, those people that came in, we want them to deploy at least one contract. It was a blockchain company. We want them to deploy at least one contract on our platform. That was the goal. So at that point in time, the thing that we did that gave us awareness will not give us adoption. You have to change to new things that give us adoption. So in this phase, they are aware that this product exists. How can we make them to use it? So given this, so how do we drive adoption? It depends on the product, but one way is to host a hackathon or a challenge. Either you host as a team or you partner with communities to host it, but hackathons are a fantastic way to drive adoption. Some companies I see do hackathons in the awareness phase. It may work, but that is not the best place for hackathons to be in. Hackathons, as a development manager, you should do hackathons when you want to drive adoption. It's a perfect way to drive adoption because people will use the platform. There's going to be activities, there's going to be traction on the platform that will enable them to adopt it. Adoption basically means we want developers to use and keep using it again and again. So a hackathon is not first, but then is one of the beautiful ways we can grow adoption. The second, a third, is providing a good developer experience. Developer experience. We have developer experience engineers in the DevRel space. So the experience there heavily is for adoption. So in adoption phase, DevMar and DevRel marry heavily. That's where you need developer relations people because we need experience. We need because we have UX and we have developer experience, DX. So we need developer experience. If we have awareness and we say that run this particular campaign, we had 1,000 people sign up. But in the next months, only 20 people use the platform. What happened? What was the problem? And many times because there was a bad developer experience, the journey from sign up to usage was not smooth, and so they dropped off. So how do we keep developers coming and coming again? Develop good developer experience. We'll discuss more about developer experience in the module for developer experience. The next is good developer supports. I have an issue. It's not working. I need to talk to somebody. That is why we need developer support engineers or developer advocates can do this, or community managers can do it who are technically sound, can help you fix problems. So if you're a community manager and you're in Discord and someone say have an issue with this SDK and you're not technically strong enough, you can always convey them to dev advocates to the question back. But we need to have a good developer support. Developers don't like to waste time. They're trying to build something and I'm stuck in your SDK. I'm stuck in your Azure, so in your hosting platform. I can't move. I'm asking you a question. Answer the question fast. As somebody ticket to stay for like 3 months. They leave you and go somewhere else. So developer support is essential. So there are other people who are in dev marketing, but they have roles as support engineers, tech support, but developer support engineers, answering questions on Slack or Discord or on the support channel as a chatbot. They can send email, all of those things as a good developer support, very essential. There are also Q&As. So developer support, also developer experience also has to do with the documentation at the same time. So documentation also part of experience. So these things also drive adoption. Very important. So to drive adoption, we need to look at these things. So it's that if you want to do adoption and you start writing plenty articles, plenty posts, influencer, it will not work because adoption is a whole different game. Our plan should change. Let's look at our experience. Let's look at our support to drive people to come back to it. Now we have free trials, credits. This is what people like Firebase, Amazon, all of these credit companies do very, very well. They give you free trial. Just like we mentioned earlier, you know how the Suya seller gives you testing and you're hooked, you want to buy. So basically they do it. They give you free credits and you host your platform there. Developers host their platform. They'll use the platform for maybe trial of credit could last for 2 months or 30 months. When it expires, they have no choice than to pay. Because most times, if data they cannot migrate enough because of what they've invested into the platform. So trials, credit works, give free trials, credit if you can. So when they use the platform and then it expires, the tendency for them to go back, once you have a good experience, will be hard, really hard. They have no option to pay. So Firebase did this to people. Firebase had this campaign 2019 where they were all startup friendly first campaign. People built real solid was demo at the time, demo apps on Firebase. It was free, there were credits, and then they were growing. They need to pay for additional credits for additional services. Moving from Firebase to Azure or GCP or AWS was a nightmare. They had no choice but to pay Firebase and stay on Firebase. It's tricky, but it works. So offer free trials if you can, offer credits, keep them hooked, experience, and they'll come back and you grow adoption from there. Hosts hands-on builds workshop. I use builds as a case study. Now, if you're going to conferences and we're in the adoption phase, as much as possible, try to do workshop. Workshop is best to drive adoption. Another example, I see you working on that at a point. Once we have sponsor requests and I come to you and I say, this organizer or this conference said we should sponsor, and we have the budget is within our budget, we should give them 30,000 USD, 100 USD, no while we can sponsor. The first question I always ask is, can we do a workshop? Can we do a workshop? At first, I didn't understand what he was saying or why he meant it, but now I do. It's very essential. In awareness phase, you can do talks. You can come on stage 10 minutes, talk, come slides, show, come down. But in adoption phase, you have to try and do workshop. Workshop hands-on. You're showing them how it works. They're opening their laptop. They're joining your platform. They're signing, they're creating an account. They're following you as you're typing. Do workshop as much as you can because it builds adoption. They join your platform. They see how it works. They used to be something demo and test that works. And when you're gone, they can do it again. As a company, not company, right? A friend of mine, he was a developer advocate for one blockchain company. We met at no, not the first, Oscar Fest last year in Lagos. He spoke at a conference. He came down after speaking. He always has the pen and paper. Developers were carried around him, writing down their names and their email. Their names, email, and their track. Yeah, names, email, track. He had like about 30 names. He was writing, he was moving, writing, he was really writing. He was hustling so much because the company at the time was looking to increase number of developers who are using their SDK. So he gave the talk because it was free, but the talk was not enough. When he came down, he said because of course the whole dev Martin is if you can lure developers to come to you by giving them merch, their swags, their free templates. So he said after the talk, he said, if you want to know more about IOV, I think that's the name of the company, IOV Labs, I'm at the back. I have swags, I have merch for you. You can come. Of course, developers will come. As you're coming, he's taking out your name, asking. So he built, so when he went back, emails, and he got about 15 people who actually signed up and used the SDK from that event. So the point is this, to drive adoption, we need to host workshops that are very essential because workshop, you show developers how to use it. It is physical, open your laptop, internet access, or give internet, join all the platform, follow me as hands-on, code labs, they join you, they use it, and they like it, they come back, right? So if you're in this phase, try to give less of talks and more workshop if you can, because that's very helpful for building adoption.